भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वतीदेवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषशून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय श्री श्री राधा गोकुलानंद भगवान की जय। सीताराम लक्ष्मण हनुमान जी की जय। Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 11, Text 20. Sandhya Sandhya amshayoho antar यह काल षट संख्ययोः तम एबाहुर्युगं ततज्ञ यत्र धर्मो विधीयते। संध्या संध्यरंशयोरंतर यह काल शतसंख्ययोः तम एवाहुर्युगं तद्ज्ञ यत्र धर्मो विधीयते। संध्या संध्ययांशयोरंतर यह काल शतसंख्ययोः तम एवाहुर्युगं तद्ज्ञ यत्र धर्मो विधीयते। संध्या संध्यांशयोरंतर यह काल शतसंख्ययोः तम एवाहुर्युगं तद्ज्ञ यत्र धर्मो विधीयते। Ladies, Sandhya, transitional period before. Sandhya, amshayoho, and transitional period after. Antaha, within. Yaha, that which. Kalaha, duration of time. Shatasankhyayoho, hundreds of years. Tameva, that period. Ahu, they call. Yugam, millennium. Tadgyaha, the expert. Astronomers. Yatra, wherein. Dharmaha, religion. Vidhiyate, is performed. Translation by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. The transitional periods before and after every millennium, which are a few hundred years as aforementioned, are known as Yuga Sandhyas, or the conjunctions of two millenniums. According to the expert astronomers, in those periods all kinds of religious activities are performed. Text 21. Dharmas chatuspan manujan krite sammanuvartate sa evanyeshu adharmena vyeti padena vardhata. Translation. O Vidura, in the Satya millennium, mankind properly and completely maintain the principles of religion. But in another millennium, religion gradually decreased by one part as irreligion was proportionately admitted. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. In the Satya millennium, complete execution of religious principles prevailed. Gradually, the principles of religion decreased by one part in each of the subsequent millenniums. In other words, at present there is one part religion and three parts irreligion. Therefore, people in this age are not very happy. Hare Krishna. So in the first canto, there is a question by the sages. Dharma kam sharanam gata. In this age of Kali, after Krishna goes back to the spiritual world, where will dharma go? So later in the third chapter it is described, Krishne swadhama pagati dharma jnanadibhisada kalau nashtadrishamesha purana arko adhunodita. Krishne swadhama upagate, Krishna having gone back to the spiritual world. Dharma jnanadibhisah, taking along with him dharma, jnana, etc. Kalau nashtadrisham esha, and leaving behind this age of Kali, which destroys people's vision. That Kali which destroys people's discrimination. Where has dharma then taken shelter in this age of Kali? Purana, in this Srimad-Bhagavatam Purana. Arka adhuno dita, which is just like the sun in the darkness of the age of Kali. And therefore, the whole Srimad-Bhagavatam is the literature where Krishna has personally taken shelter and manifested for the age of Kali to be the personification of dharma. Madeka bandho mat sangi mat guru mat mahadana mat nistaraka mahabhagya madananda namostute. When Srila Sanatana Goswami Pad is gifted the Srimad-Bhagavatam, he glorifies the Srimad-Bhagavatam and says, Madeka bandho, the Srimad-Bhagavatam is my only friend. Mat sangi, my only associate. Mat guru, my spiritual teacher. Mat Mahadhana, my greatest wealth. Mat Nistaraka, my deliverer. Mahabhagya, cause of my greatest fortune. Madananda, one who gives me greatest bliss. Namostute. And therefore, I offer my obeisances to this Srimad-Bhagavatam. Shrinavata Shraddhaya Nityam Granatascha Svacheshtitam Kalena Nati Dirghena Bhagavan Vishate Hridi. So the Srimad-Bhagavatam has to be understood, studied, heard, Shraddhaya, with faith, Nityam, regularly, Granatascha Svacheshtitam, accepted with great effort. And when one does that, Kalena, in due course of time, na atidirghena, not very long, quickly, Bhagavan Vishate Hridi, Krishna is arrested within the heart by that. Therefore, Sushloka Maule Gunavadamahu Shrutescha Vidvadbhirupakratayam Katha Sudhayam Upasamprayogam Ekanta Labham Vachaso Napumsam. The greatest benefit for the tongue is to recite the Srimad-Bhagavatam, and the greatest fortune for the ears is to hear the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And therefore, today we will discuss about how the Srimad-Bhagavatam is offering us various gifts in this age of darkness. The first gift the Bhagavatam is offering is association of devotees, satsanga. And Maharaj Parikshit, when he sees Srila Shukadeva Goswami, he offers his obeisances and says, Yesham samsmaranat pumsam sadyam shuddhyanti vaigriha kim punardarshana sparsha padashaucha sanadibhi. It is my greatest fortune to welcome such a powerful personality as yourself, O Shukadeva Goswami. Just by remembering you, samsmaranat pumsam, sadyo, instantly, shuddhyanti, we become purified. Vaigriha, and our houses become purified. Our families and dynasties become purified. Kim punar darshana sparsha, what to speak of taking your darshan and touching you, pada shaucha sanadibi, or washing your divine lotus feet and accepting the charanamrit upon our head. So your presence is very purifying because you are personification of the Srimad-Bhagavatam. When Maharaj Parikshit is faced with the news that he is going to die in the next 7 days and 7 nights, it is a shocking news for people in this conditioned state. Because people in the conditioned state are afraid of destruction of the body. And Maharaj Parikshit says, I am not afraid of the destruction of my body. I am afraid of the distraction of my mind. So the difference between a materialist and the spiritualist is a spiritualist is paranoid of the distraction of the mind more than the destruction of the body. Tammo payantam pratiyanto vipra Ganga cha devi dhritachittamishe Dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshakova Dashatpalam gayata Vishnugatha. So please, I request all of you sages who have assembled here, knowing that I am going to depart in the next few days, may Ganga Devi be the witness. Dvijopasrishta kuhakastakshakova. May that snake bird created by the curse of the Brahmana come and bite me. But Dashatpalam gayata Vishnugatha. My greatest fortune is to be in this association and hear Harikatha so that I can remember Krishna. You continue describing those glories. And then he says, by chance, because the nature of the mind is it is fickle, because of my past conditionings, because of various reasons, if I'm unable to remember Krishna at the last moment and I have to take birth again. So these are the three things I pray to the deities. When we come in front of the deities, these are the three things we should pray for. What are the three? Punascha bhuyad bhagavati anantam rati prasangascha tadashrayeshu mahatsuyamyam upayami srishtim maitrastu sarvatra namo dvijebhya. First is, may I develop unlimited attraction towards Krishna. May Krishna's lotus feet, his beautiful divine lips, and his attractive lotus-like eyes and Krishna's divine qualities attract me all the time. So that is what he is praying for. May I be attracted by Krishna's beauty. And therefore, that Krishna with his divine, form, pastimes, qualities becomes so all attractive to me. Shukadeva Goswami cannot get over the double benefit of connecting with Krishna, one who's all powerful, all beautiful, full of opulences, can also be so humble and be all merciful like this. How can someone be powerful and merciful at the same time? And therefore, when Putana, is killed by Krishna, Shukadeva Goswami is describing that beautiful pastime and meditating that one who came to kill Krishna with poison smeared around her breasts, with the intention to kill, with evil intention. To that personality, Krishna gave the position of mother. Padabhyam bhakta hridistabhyam vandabhyam lokavanditaihi angam yasyaha samakramya bhagavan apitastanam. That Krishna, whose divine lotus feet are worshipped by the 330 million gods, they are aspiring for the touch of Krishna's lotus feet. With those lotus feet, Krishna tightly embraced and gave mercy to Putana. And not only he touched, embraced and gave mercy to Putana during her lifetime, but after death, what is the position he gave? Yatu dhanyapi sasvargam avapa jananim gatim Krishna bhuktas tanakshiraha kim gavono mataraha. Krishna gave her the position of nurse and mother in the spiritual world. Avapa jananim gatim. She was given the position of mother. Krishna bhuktas tanakshiraha. If this is what Krishna can give to someone who comes to kill him, what is left in Krishna's, entire range of things to give to those who are offering him milk with love? If those who are coming with hate are given position of mother, those who reciprocate with love, what can they be given? Kam va dayalum sharanam brajema. And therefore, nobody can be as merciful as Krishna. And therefore, our Parikshit Maharaj is praying, may I develop unlimited attraction towards Krishna. That is the first prayer I have. The second prayer I have, and that which I should pray when I come to the deities, is that attraction can only manifest in the association of devotees. Many times we may think that I am practicing bhakti, and one may gradually over a period of time forget the power the influence, the protecting effect of the Vaishnava Sangha. And therefore, we should always remember that our efforts to practice bhakti is only part of the process. But the major component is when we are practicing in the association of other devotees, and their grace and their prayers act upon us and become like the kavacha, the protecting shield for us. Vanchitoham Maharaja Harina Bandhurupina Yena me apahritam tejo Deva Vismapanam Mahat. When Krishna has ended his pastimes, Arjuna, the powerful warrior with his Gandiva bow, is passing through the forests of Vrindavan along with the queens of Dwarka. And then some infidel cowherd boys come and they defeat Arjuna with various, forest-made weapons. And Arjuna is shocked and bewildered. And he is coming and reporting to Yudhishthira that I can only realize that the power I had during all these years was a gift given by Krishna. He had deposited that power with me. His power he had deposited with me. I was under the illusion it is my power. When it is with me for a long time, I may forget who deposited it. Sometimes it happens with money also. And therefore, vanchitoham, I have been deprived of that power. Harina bandhurupina, Lord Hari, who was like my closest friend, is now departed, ended his pastimes. Yena me apahritam tejo, and therefore that power which I had has also been taken away. Deva Vismapanam Mahat, that power which would stun all the gods, that power is not to be seen. Therefore, endowment and withdrawal of powers happens by the grace of Krishna. So we should never ever forget that. So only in that association of devotees we will experience the ability to practice that process. And so Chaitanya Charitamrita describes, Vaishnavera gunagrahi na dekhai dosh, kaya mane vakya kore Vaishnava santosh. So always try to see the good qualities in the devotees and not see their faults, because everyone is full of faults. But we have to see the good qualities, knowing that this Vaishnava association is my only shelter in this age of Kali, where one cannot practice alone. Lord Chaitanya himself says, Ekaki amar nahi pai bala, Harinama sankirtane, Tumi kripa kori shraddha bindu diya, Deha Krishna nama dhane. Lord Chaitanya says, even I cannot practice alone. Nahi pai bala. I don't have the strength. And therefore, Tumi kripa kori. You give me your grace. You give me your mercy. So, that is the second thing which Parikshit is praying for. Give me association. And third, when there is attraction for Krishna developed in the association, then we try to share that message with others, to give others access to that association. That is called outreach. That is called preaching, giving out the message with compassion. And therefore, this principle is very important, that only in that association we can develop attraction for Krishna. Only in that association we get empowered to provide access to others. Otherwise, it is just not possible. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was in Darjeeling. So, in those days, Calcutta was the main city, and Darjeeling was like, even those days was like a place where people would go for vacation and enjoyment and everything. So when Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada visited Darjeeling, some devotee had invited him and organized some event. So he developed a desire and he said, we should have our center here. So none of the devotees who had come there were prepared for starting a center. So they said, okay, we will see. So he said, no, see, we are going to start. So then some devotee said, who will stay here? So Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada said, so many of you have come here, one of you will stay here. Start the center. That's it. So they all got bewildered. One of us will stay here. Who is that one? And they started looking at each other. In these situations, people feel inspired to follow Vaishnava etiquette. You first. So they were all looking at each other. And Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada realized it's not going to come to a consensus like this. He said, tomorrow morning, whoever I see first will stay here. Next day morning, nobody came. And then practically half the day passed. But somebody had to go and give lunch. So finally they came to a compromise and one of them agreed. So Srila Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, he left the beautiful bhajan kutir of Mayapur in Brajapattana, where he sat for chanting a billion names, because he wanted to give this access to the conditioned souls in this age of Kali. So that association is the only hope for the conditioned souls in Kali Yuga. Srila Prabhupada was told by some devotees, Srila Prabhupada, we heard that the scientists have created a dog with 2 heads. Prabhupada said, that is nothing new. Ravana had 10 heads. Ravana had 10 heads and he was a big dog because he was trying to usurp someone else's property. And therefore, Jai Shri Radha Gokulananda Ji ki, Shri Sitaram Lakshman Hanuman Ji ki. The whole principle of Krishna consciousness is to try to practice in the association and bring others into that association to develop our attraction towards Krishna. The second thing which we hear from the Srimad-Bhagavatam is the taste in serving, the taste in the practice of the process. And Maharaj Parikshit himself says, Naishati dussaha khrunman tyaktodam apibadhade pibantam tvam mukham bhojam chutam harikathamritam. I am fasting. I am about to die in the next few days. But in spite of fasting for 3.5 days, because 10th canto begins at the end of 3.5 days, total 7 days. 9 cantos is 9,000 verses. So he says, Na esha ati dussaha kshunman. Hunger and thirst can be very difficult to tolerate, but I don't feel that. Tyaktodam api badhate. Although I have given up my eating and sleeping and drinking water. Pibantam tvan mukham bhojam, because I am hearing Krishna Katha being spoken by you. Chutam harikathamritam, which is coming from your lotus-like lips. And therefore, I can appreciate the fact that this Krishna Katha is giving me the strength and the power to actually nourish my soul. Tathapi kirtaya manga yatha mati yatha shrutam kirtim harir swam satkartum giram anyabhida asatim. Maitreya Rishi is telling Vidura, I am speaking this message to you not because I know more than you, but I am using this katha as a means to purify myself. Yatha mati, as per my intelligence, yatha shrutam, depending on how much I can remember. Kirtim harir swam satkartum, and if I speak this message to you, giram anyabhida satim, I become purified. I am confident about that. So therefore the whole Krishna consciousness process is meant for one's purification. So in the initial days when Srila Prabhupada was translating and giving his commentaries, he was recording it in tapes. Those tapes would go to some devotees who would transcribe that tape. And then the transcription would come to the editing team, and then they would edit and send it back. And finally it would come to Prabhupada for the final editing. So, there was this devotee initial years. He was involved in the transcription. So he was asked to give class for the first time. And he was totally blank. He had never given class and he didn't know how to give class and he couldn't remember anything. So he decided, since I've been asked to give class, I will just repeat what Prabhupada said. Because Prabhupada said preaching is about repeating for one's own purification. So he took the transcription machine with the tape and the earphone. He put it and put a chadar around him. And he sat for the class. He would play one line, pause it, and repeat it with eyes closed. Then play it again, repeat it, and then again pause it. This way he was giving the class. Everyone thought he's giving a very thoughtful class, very meditative class. But just by that process, he developed the confidence that Krishna consciousness process is all about my own purification. We are here to be purified. And the Srimad-Bhagavatam is the method by which one gets purified. Amanistarite tomar iha agaman parama dayalu tumi patita pavan. And therefore Ramananda Rai glorifies Lord Chaitanya that you have appeared to deliver the most fallen in this age. When Srila Prabhupada was traveling to the West, some God brothers, he was having just prasadam in Vrindavan. And Prabhupada was eating prasadam. And his God brother told him, "Oh, Swami Maharaj, you are going to America. You are eating with your hands. You should learn how to eat with knife and fork and spoon because you are going to the West." Prabhupada said, "I am going there to make them forget knife and fork and teach them the Vedic culture and give them the taste in the Bhagavat." When he went to Shantipur to take blessings of Srila Advaita Acharya, one of his God brothers met him and said, "Oh, Swami Maharaj, you are going to America. It is so wonderful. You are making all of us proud." And Srila Prabhupada immediately replied, "I am not going to America. The Srimad-Bhagavatam is going to America. I am traveling with the Bhagavatam as their servant." That was his mood when he came. And therefore, the Bhagavatam offers us association, it offers us taste. The third thing which the Bhagavatam offers us is seva, the opportunity for devotional service. And therefore, at the very beginning when Parikshit Maharaj is surrounded by the sages, he says, I have two main questions. And the answer to these two questions is the entire Srimad-Bhagavatam. Tataschava prechamimam vipriche vishrubhya kritya iti krityatayam sarvatmanamriyamanishcha krityam shuddhyam titattamritayabhiyuktat. What is the duty of a person at every moment in life? And what is the duty of a person at the time of death? These are the two main questions. And hence, in response to that, the entire Bhagavatam plays out that the duty at every moment is to be engaged in devotional service. Aham hare tava padaika moola dasanudasa bhavitasmi bhuya. To be the servant of the servant is the ultimate goal. And hence, when one is engaged in that process of devotional service, one becomes a das. And the whole idea of das and servant is that we try to fulfill the desire of the master. So one of the devotees in the earlier years, when he joined the movement, his parents were very upset, and they brought, a psychiatrist to kind of deprogram him. And this devotee was sitting with the psychiatrist, and the psychiatrist asked this devotee, "What is your problem in life?" And the devotee said, "Janma mrityu jara vyadhi," quoted the Gita shloka. Then the psychiatrist said, "You have any problems with your parents? What do you think about that?" Then he quoted from the Gita, "Pitamahasya jagata mata data pitama." So every question which the psychiatrist was asking, this devotee was answering with a verse from the Bhagavad Gita. In half an hour, the psychiatrist came running out, went to the parents and said, "If I remain half an hour more with your son, I will become Hare Krishna. Your son is permanently infected." And Prabhupada liked that quote very much. And Prabhupada quoted, "Even the psychiatrist has certified." The effect of the process is that one gets addicted to the process of devotional service, which is seva. The fourth thing which we get from the Srimad-Bhagavatam is the purity in intention, which is very, very important. And that purity comes when we come and offer our prayers to the deities. Chandrika vishadasmerai sa aruna apanga vikritaihi svakartanam ivaraja sattvabhyam srishtipalaka. So the verse says, when you come and see the deities, you see the glance of Krishna, and then you see the smile of Krishna. The glance of Krishna, now we may think, I have come for darshan. I have come for the Lord's darshan. And sometimes people are also wondering, why are the lordships making us wake up so early in the morning? So when in early 90s in the Chopati ashram, one brahmachari stayed for two years. Then he left. While leaving, I was kind of in charge of the bhaktas. So I thought, let me do an exit interview. Why are you leaving? So I asked him questions. Was the prasadam not good? He said, no, prasadam was good. Was the staying facility not good? No, excellent. Did anyone bother you? No, all loving devotees. So I said, you are leaving. That means you are not satisfied. Is there anything we should change? He said, yes, if Mangal Arati could be at 10 o'clock, that would be perfect. But the whole idea of being in the temple is we agree to the terms and condition of his lifestyle and his schedule. And therefore, when we come in front of the deities, it is not that We are seeing them. We are seeing them. But more importantly, we are allowing ourselves to be seen by them. So that many times people say, I got photos at home. I can look at the photos also, worship the photos. What is the point in coming to the temple? Is there any special potency in coming to the temple and taking darshan of the deities in the temple? Yes, that's what Brahmaji is saying. Sa aruna apanga vikshitaihi. When Krishna glances upon the devotee with his, reddish eyes, that glance from the deities on the devotee creates spiritual desires to serve. One develops desire to serve, enthusiasm to serve. Swakarthanam ibaraja sattvabhyam srishtripalaka. And then, because of that desire to serve, when you start serving the deities and you start serving the devotees, when you go through challenges, difficulties, because one may think, once I start serving, everything will be wonderful. No problem at all. But Vrindavan was peaceful before Krishna appeared. All the Leelas began after Krishna appeared. And therefore, Vrindavan does not mean that there is peace. Vrindavan means that there is service. And service means that there will be no peace. There will only be opportunity to take up more and more anxiety to serve Krishna. In that situation, what happens? Then Krishna's smile reassures the devotee. That smile of Krishna is assuring the devotee, don't worry, I am with you. So continue on in your wonderful way to continue practicing the process. Sattvabhyam srishtripalaka. So in the initial days, Prabhupada told the devotees, you just worship Tulsi. And they didn't have Tulsi in one of the temples in Germany. So Prabhupada said, wherever Tulsi is there, when the devotees are doing bhakti nicely and doing their seva with purity, with pure intention, Tulsi Maharani will grow like anything, pleased by their purity. So one of the devotees brought, one plant and said, looks like this is Tulsi. And they started watering it and it grew like anything. So they said, Prabhupada said, when there is purity, it will grow. And they were patting each other on their back that we are very, very pure. A week later, an Indian man came and said, this is not Tulsi, this is bamboo. So they were actually not even aware of that at that time. But Prabhupada said, the reason we do the Tulsi Aarti is Tulsi Maharani has managed to please Krishna consistently, every time, all the time. And therefore, to become a billionaire, you have to go to the billionaire and associate. Like that, Tulsi Maharani is one who has pleased Krishna. And therefore, to get the potency to serve for the day, we worship her. To get that potency, the purity of the intention to serve Krishna. So these are some of the wonderful gifts we get from the Srimad-Bhagavatam. And therefore, at the very beginning, Kalau nashtadrisham esha puran arko adhunodita Krishne swadhamapagate dharma jnanadibisah. Even after Krishna has gone to the spiritual world, the dharma has now been left within the wonderful sound vibration of Srimad-Bhagavatam. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Grantaraj Srimad-Bhagavatam ki. Any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
You spoke a lot about the importance of devotee association. So I was wondering what to do, because often when I meet somebody who's interested in Krishna consciousness, I want to tell them to come and spend some time at the manor to associate with the devotees, but there's no space for them to stay here. So I don't know what to do about that.
Yeah, so we have all these congregational programs where, people could just be in their locality and associate with the devotees once in a week, twice in a week. Sangha groups, you have Sangha groups where people come together. Because Prabhupada asked the question, why are we building the temples? And someone said, because we want people to come and stay in the temple. Prabhupada said, no. That's not practical, because temple will always have limited space. I remember when I joined the ashram, after I joined the ashram, there was one more friend of mine who joined the ashram. His father came and started arguing with me. Why my son has joined at such a young age? When he is my age, he should join. I said, let the son go, you join. So he got bewildered. He said, let me ask at home and come back. Next day, he came and said, let my son continue. So obviously it is not possible for everybody to come and stay in the temple. Therefore, the whole model is we go out and create facilities in society so that people get inspired from the temple and transform their home into a temple. And Prabhupada said you need to do 3 things to make your home into a temple. Ghore Krishna bhaji more kora ashirvade, nilachale asi jena tomar prasade. Lord Chaitanya tells Sarvabhauma Bhattacharya, because you are worshipping Krishna at home sincerely, you are empowered as a grihastha even to bless sannyasi. And so you bless me that I return back from South India. Ghare Krishna bhaji, more kora ashirvade. So the first thing which a grihastha should do, should worship Krishna at home sincerely. So that sincere worship of Krishna means these 3 things. First is Krishna Nam, second is Krishna Katha, and third is Krishna Prasad. That means your intention in your home is not to enjoy, but the intention is Krishna Nam, means you are asking every day, how can I serve you? And then Krishna Katha is you are understanding how great souls in the past have served you. And I want to be inspired by them to serve you in a similar manner. So let me hear about Dhruv Maharaj. Let me hear about Prahlad Maharaj. Evam janam nipatitam prabhavahi kupe kama bhikama manuya prapatan prasangat kritvatmasat surarashina bhagavan grihita soham katham nu visraje tava britya sevam. Prahlad is having darshan of Lord Narsingha. It's a dream come true for a devotee. But he's saying, I still have an unfulfilled desire. Narsingha Deva says, you still have unfulfilled desire even after seeing me? What more desire is there which is not yet fulfilled? And he says, I got to know about bhakti and yoga from Narada Muni. He intervened, and because of his intervention, I got this fortune. And therefore, it is the Vaishnav's blessings which creates auspicious desires, and the Vaishnav's curses create inauspicious desires. So, Jay and Vijay got cursed by the Kumaras, because of which they became Hiranyakashipu, Hiranyaksha. And Prahlad got blessed by Narad Muni, because of which he became Narsingadev Bhakta. And therefore the devotees have great power to change the trajectory of our Krishna consciousness. And if you are not careful, it can be a double-edged sword. And so he's saying, I got your darshan by the mercy of Narad Muni, but I feel guilty. I have not been able to reciprocate. So, please give me a chance to serve Lord Narad Muni anytime. So that's the whole idea of Krishna Katha. You hear about the intentions, the aspirations, the challenges of great devotees. So Krishna Nam, Krishna Katha, and third is Krishna Prasad. Aiche anna je Krishna ke karaye bhojan, janme janme shire dharo tahar charan. When Lord Chaitanya sees the huge feast prepared by Advaita Acharya and offered to the home deities, Lord Chaitanya is in bliss. And he says, Aiche anna je Krishna ke karaye bhojan. The only change you have to do is, instead of cooking for yourself, you start cooking for Krishna. The intention changes from myself to Krishna. And therefore, he says, anybody who offers to Krishna like this, Janme Janme Shire Dhanu, life after life, I take the dust of the feet of that devotee upon my head. So simply with that one simple small change, that the food anyway has to be cooked at home. But if that food, instead of being cooked for my pleasure, if it is cooked for Krishna's pleasure, Krishna becomes so overwhelmed with gratitude. He says, life after life, I take the dust of the feet of that devotee upon my head. Just see the power of bhakti. I remember when I was, we had started Govinda's restaurant in Chopati way back in 2005. So in the initial days, nobody knew about the restaurant. Hardly anybody used to come. And I also used to be in anxiety, why nobody is coming. So I would spend a lot of time roaming around in the Govindas and sometimes coming out to the door to see who's coming, who's not coming. Sometimes to call somebody, there is a Govindas here. So I was, and when the guests would come, I would sit because, when in 1 hour, 1 or 2 people come. So I would go and talk to them, preach to them, and feel very happy that they are honoring us by coming. So I was sitting with some guest and talking to them, who was like taking prasad in the Govindas. So suddenly one new customer came. And he entered inside, he looked at me, he thought I am the waiter. He looked at me and said, Ek do sala. He thought it's a Hare Krishna restaurant, so the Hare Krishna fellow must be the guy bringing the thing. So I went inside and gave order. And then continued talking to the other person who I was talking to. So in the meantime, the main guy who takes order, he came out and met this new person and said, what is your order? Well, I already ordered. Whom? Right? Showed to me. I ordered to him. So he said, he is not waiter, Baba. He is a preacher. A preacher? What does he preach? Bhagavad Gita. Oh, tell him to give me Gita lecture now. When I am eating the dosa. Because I want some entertainment. So this waiter came to me and said, this customer wants to hear Gita. I said, oh, wow, that's wonderful. So he was eating the dosa, and I said, he said, from the time I start the dosa till I end, finish the gist of the Gita. Paisa vasool karna hai. I want to make sure that I understand in that short period of time. So I told him, the gist of the Gita is that the definition of suffering is to not get what you want And to get what you don't want, that is suffering. He stopped eating the dosa. He looked at me and said, I just lost my job. I realized that this is suffering. Tell me what is the solution. And then I gave the 6-session Gita course in next 10 minutes. He finished up, washed his hand, and came to me and said, give me mala. I want to start chanting Hare Krishna. So I realized the power of one dosa, which is offered to the Lord and then given, how it can transform the consciousness. So therefore, to answer to your question, forget manner. Anywhere in the world, the temples will have limited space. And it is not sustainable to have large number of people coming and staying there. In the eco village last year, 24, we got 1 million people walking in. So if each one of them said, we want to stay here, then I'll have to come to the manor. So therefore, the solution is, we train and inspire people to transform their homes into a temple by adding Krishna Nam, Krishna Katha and Krishna Prasad. And thus it becomes a wonderful shelter. Okay? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Go Premanande.
Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Guru Vaishnavangscha Sri Rupam